Welcome, everyone. It's 6 o'clock and Donnie Bailey's arrived, so we can get started. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Roll call, James.
Jeremy Rackle. Present. Mitch Magnus. Present. Larry Phillips.
Present.
Liz Darden. Reed Petty.
Present.
Joel Williams.
Present.
Wayne Cohn.
Present.
Mary Jean Krager. You do have a quorum.
All right, thank you. Wayne, would you pray for us, please?
I would do it. Will you please stand? Before I pray, I want to say this. He called Mary Krager's name, and hopefully everyone knows that she passed away this week, and this would have been her last council meeting of the year as her term. And next few days, I'd just like for you to pray and think about the Krager family and also her original family, the Sharp family over around Bergman, because they're both great families and we just need to keep them in our prayers that time. Let us pray. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we just come to you tonight, thanking you for this beautiful night that you've given us. Lord, as we go forth with the business of the city, we just ask for your guidance and direction in everything that we do. Lord, we just thank you for the employees of the city of Harrison and the job that they do for our citizens. And we just ask that during this Christmas time that you be with each and every one of them. Go with us, guide and direct us in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Join me in the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, be seated, please. Okay, I'd like a motion to approve the November 21 council minutes.
So move.
Second. Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, thank you. We're going to go into department head reports. Let's start with Chief Grady.
Council, Mr. Mayor, I've put the monthly report up there. Anyone has any questions, I won't go through it since we have a large agenda tonight. Everything's been running fairly smooth with the department, gearing up for the holiday season that's coming up. Planning extra patrols, some saturations, some checkpoints, things like that. So other than that, we're
losing a great officer.
We are. I know I mentioned that before at a previous council meeting, but Lieutenant Mike told me will be retired on December 31st will be his last day. So we're definitely losing a big part of the staff right there.
Yesterday was a good example of how the county and city support each other, because we had a going away kind of a little party for him, and a lot of the county people showed up. So, and the drug people, just all the agencies.
Had some retirees.
I understand. Well, how did you? I can't see. How did you get that?
Okay.
Get this for the.
No, Chris.
Okay.
Lieutenant Nolan was one of those
So
that was came on board when I
yeah, I
was still
mean,
here.
it shouldn't matter which one. No,
And that is when I was
okay.
going to that some agency didn't hire from us, and in the long run, it played out very well for the
It sure
city.
did. It
I
sure
didn't
did.
know. Yeah, so with him, you know, here. Let's see.
It's gonna be hard to him. I tell you that. Put his duties on the already. So that.
Thank you, Chief.
What's going on? Yeah.
Okay, let's go to Chief Lowry next.
Good evening, Council Mayor.
Maybe I just need to log on with my phone.
Yeah.
The month of November, to point out is I want to show
And the mic's working.
how much background.
This is still.
Everybody. Want to show you an unusual month of
Maybe I should
helping
go out, come back in.
Yeah.
county last month. And it's holding that trend to this month already. We've already had 3 or 4. And then we also had some searches out we had a drowning over in Carroll County at the creek, unfortunately, and then some ground searches for some missing persons over in Dixie County. So again, it was an unusual month for going out and helping our neighboring departments, but we're all glad to have. So everything else has been kind of the same thing, kind of different calls. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
I have a comment to you, chief. You didn't get Lieutenant Tolan from the PD, so.
What?
I said you did not get Lieutenant Tolan in the fire department.
Not yet, we're trying.
Yeah, I get it. Okay, Wade, would you like to come next?
I'll be pretty rude tonight compared to normal. We pickups moved along fine. I think they're starting to get caught up after our usual getting behind on those first couple weeks. Everything else of the departments is pretty well run and routine. Be happy to answer any questions if any of you have them. Otherwise, I just want to wish everybody Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Okay, James, who do we have on Zoom?
That's Tammy Henson Platt. She's with the doctor's program.
Oh, okay. Okay, Luke.
I've got similar news to what Chief Grady has. We had a long-standing employee who's also going to retire effective December 31st. All of you probably know Teresa Halstead. She's been here just shy of 50 years. So a lot of people have went through here, and she has been kind of the rock that's held everything together. She's been a great employee, long-standing employee. Surely going to be missed. So we're going to do a little reorganizing in my department. And we've already put out something out there for an accounting position. It's actually going to be an accountant, not necessarily a CPA, but we're going to reorganize a little bit. But we sure are going to miss Teresa. And so if you get a chance to see her, we're going to have a retirement get together after the first of the year. You'll be here in this office, I believe. It's December 8th, I believe. I'll double check and I'll send everything out there. But if you see her, tell her thank you for all the years of service that she provided.
Sure.
And other than that, I'll get to all my other stuff later. But Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Luke. David, do you want to go? You're good. Excellent. Now we got Chuck, and Chuck's got a little bigger presentation. That's kind of why we saved the best for last.
Thanks, Ed. Appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
Really, anytime.
First, I want to give you the Creekside numbers because we reached our goal. So I just want to make sure I get these numbers in tonight. We were hoping to get to 1,000 memberships and over 2,000 people by the end of the year. Today officially, before I left at 5 o'clock, we had 1,055 memberships, which equals 2019 that we have at Creekside. So I'm really excited about that. So I just want to give you those numbers. Now I get to a happy and a sad presentation because it's happy because the guy I'm about to talk about deserves all the recognition that you can give him. He's earned everything he's given the city. Parks and Rec, 36 years of service. He's the one guy I'll say is irreplaceable because that's how I feel about him, because that's how important he is to Parks and Rec. He's had his hand on every facility that's been built or every field that's been built. He's been a part of it, designing it or doing it, the work with his crew. That's why I say he's irreplaceable. He knows where all the water lines are, every electrical line. It's every Parks and Rec. He's probably the only one in the city that does. So, but more than that, he's been a great leader. He supervised many young men, many young women. He's been a great worker for me. He's the most loyal guy in Parks and Rec you're ever going to find. His heart bleeds. I just want to thank his family for all the years that they let him be at Parks and Rec, because Like I said, I can't say enough about this man. He's a spiritual leader of Parks and Rec. And he's a great leader as far as developing young men and doing his job. The reason we have the tournaments and events we have is because he helped build them. And it's been my honor and privilege to work with this man. And, I wish I could get another 36 years out of him, and I begged and pleaded for one more, but I'm happy he's retiring, because if anyone deserves it, Jerry Farmer does, and, he'll be very missed. But he's one that I would say definitely deserves his retirement. So, I got a couple of plaques and a flag I want to give out and tell you who they're from, Jerry, so if you want to come up here, please. I have a citation here from State Representative Ron McNair. He gave you a citation, so you can hang that up. And then, Senator Brian King is giving you a state flag, and he's written you a nice letter, for your representative of this state and the state, and the city of Harrison for all your years of service. Like I said, it's been my honor and privilege to work with you, Gary, and I'm gonna miss you every day.
So, Jerry,
So,
yeah, I know, everything Chuck says, he couldn't have said it better because, you have been so much to us. And I think I've said before, 3 years ago, you were gonna retire, we was begging you to stay until Creekside opened, and you agreed to. The day it opened, you gave us notice. And I think that was good. But we do have a plaque from the city also. We had actually prepared a proclamation. But when I got done with that, there was a lot of input from people on what to put in that proclamation, and it was all funny. And that's actually what we wanted. And when we got done with it, we said, we don't want to make this funny because this is so important, but you should have heard some of the things Chris wrote on there. I've actually got it for you, but I won't read it. I will read this. City of Harrison Service Award presented to Jerry Farmer in appreciation of your loyal and dedicated service to the city of Harrison, Arkansas, especially your commitment to Parks and Rec. So, oh my gosh, I can't imagine. I was down there today and I thought, I wanted to call you for something. And, you know, you're not. So, there you go, sir. Thank you. Someone come up with him for a picture. Or we can do it afterwards, but if you don't want to stay until 9 o'clock. Thank you. Okay. Wow. Okay, department head, and by the way, thank you all for coming. I hope you can come every month. Everyone in here come back every month. We're going to go into the Christmas Light Awards, and I know we have several people in the room for that tonight. So I want to call up Beverly Bears and Dennis. Yeah, both of you, if you would come up, please.
It is great for everybody to be here, and we're not going to face you guys. We honor you and respect you. And it's exciting to me to have several students in this room that are helping with our city government. That's exciting to me. Who is Carl Bear? Of course, you know, he was my darling. And yesterday someone called him darling, and it was but just to give you a little brief, those of you who do not know, we got together in 1985 at the bowling alley, and he immediately told me, I don't do Christmas. I don't do Christmas lights. Oh, okay. So when I got ready to move out of my house, I sold all of my stuff wanting my marriage to work. Well, all of you all that do know of the lights at 2629 Bachman Cutoff Road that he and I did, that's what it turned into. And I don't want to offend the gals, but light guys and gals are a different type of a breed. I call them, they've got the bug, and we've got someone in here that has got the bug, and that's Matt Bell. And I want to thank Matt. First of all, I want to thank Donnie Bailey. He was the first guy in Harrison to have all LEDs. And then he and Steve Benton got the award going after my darling went home to Jesus. And I appreciate all of this. And then Matt and I guess the mayor, the city stepped forward and they took it over, and I'm real excited because this will be the 4th year. And I don't care if you have one string of lights out there at your house. Since 2021, those lights are brighter because there's a little blue-eyed guy up there that's shining down on him, because I know he's just grinning from ear to ear. He was just a little humble guy and he never expected this, but you can't imagine how I feel in my daughter in Indianapolis. But thank you all to anybody who's getting the bug, because it doesn't matter if you get into it, it's going to take you over and it's going to add so much joy to you. And number one, to Harrison. So help us light up Harrison and spread the word. And Matt's got some great ideas. I've always wanted a map, even when the Harrison Daily Times had it. I said, please just have a map. Not everybody wants to win, but we want everybody to see our lights. So I think he's going in the right direction. So let's just thank him and all the rest of the gang that's a part of this program. And then Dennis here, he came along. I told him tonight, I said, this was Mr. No Personality until he shined through his Christmas lights, and now you can't get him started. Okay, how do you can take over.
Yeah, so, just kind of piggybacking off of, what Beverly said. For the longest time, we had some lights, right? But we'd always swing by Beverly's house to kind of see what car Beverly had. And one year I decided, I'm gonna be it. And, every year, I thought I did, and I'd swing by his house and, he all had new stuff, and I had to keep stepping it up and stepping it up, so.
One more thing. He was the 24/7, 365 day a year light guy. And one little kid come up and say, Mr. Carl, I just love your lights. And that was another year that it bought him until the year he was so sick. And thank you for sharing that story. I hadn't heard that story.
Yeah. All right, so this year we had we had 18 total houses, and Matt and I were talking about before this, that's just the people that submitted. Driving around, you can see there's a whole lot more than that, which is great to see. This is an extremely hard decision and one we have to make, but we narrowed down the top 3, and in 3rd place is on Bunker Road, the Bailey family.
All right.
Johnny really stepped it up. If y'all will just stay up here so we can have a picture at the end, please.
Sir, all right. 2nd place on Columbine Cove, the Sherburne family.
Well, Tanya.
Yeah, thank you so much. I know I didn't have all the photographs
Right, and 1st place on Pettit Lane, Rothenberg.
Not only did they receive the 1st place money, but also Matt has designed this neat plaque that has Darlene's picture on it, and this also goes to them. Here you go. Here. Oh, thank you.
All right,
And then this year, I'm sorry to say, the only lights that I have are on my porch and this sign in memory of Carl Bear. He gave his all 25+ years to show the light, love, joy, and peace of Christ. Thank you, Harrison. Merry Christmas. I went back last year and gave the first winners in 21 and 22, and then gave it last year. This year, we've added the date, which I really like, and hopefully these families will proudly display it every year with their display that's going to grow and grow and grow. Thank you all again. This is an honor for me, and this is also to go to the. I do have a 4-piece nativity, but I want everyone to remember what we're celebrating, the light of Christ, and He is the greatest gift that we can receive. So you are giving a gift to this whole community and in His honor. And we just love you guys. I thank you that I'm a part of this community and that we're continuing to, as Matt said, I was going to remember it. He wants to help with the cheer. Oh goodness, my brain is dead and I forgot to look it up. You don't remember either, do you? Anyway, he wanted to he wanted to grow the Christmas cheer that Carl Bear and other light guys have started. Thank you. Oh, we want to get a picture.
Mayor?
No. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
You're almost high.
Thank you all. Hey, thank you again, folks. We appreciate that. Let's go down to committee reports. We're going to start with Mr. Petty.
No, we have nothing to report today at this meeting, so.
Okay, let's go to Mr. Magnus.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, Council, I'll start out with financials. What you have in front of you is the August financials. There's nothing to vote on at this time for your review. If anybody has any questions, Luke, anything that stands out in August that?
No, nothing really stands out. Of course, we did our switch over to our new system in September. And I've gotten September's done except for one payment, but it's a big payment. It's the trash payment. So as soon as I get that done, I'll be able to send that out. And really, that's all I'm missing for October too. So as soon as we get those payments, and we're a little behind, so we'll get that caught up to you with our new system and get those to you as soon as we can.
And point out the general fund is basically flat for the year at that point. So if there's no other questions, we'll move on to the next item, which is the 2025 budget. I have been through this one, not with the fine tooth comb that I have in the past, but been through it quite a bit. He did make a few changes here recently, and I haven't been able to see them other than to quickly go through it. I don't see any problem with this budget whatsoever. Nothing in it that concerns me. I know that Luke was waiting to get some information on Parks and Rec and do some estimation there. You want to comment on that at all?
Sure. Of course, we're still getting memberships as we've discussed earlier. That continues to drive up the revenue that I'm projecting. However, since we don't know what next year holds, all we can really do is project flat.
Yeah.
It could be another 100 members, it could be another 2,000 members. And so since we really don't know that, we probably won't have a good idea or a steady number for the next couple of years. We did project out as much as we could. but we know that revenue will continue to grow, but we did over project our expenses in the Parks Department as well. So we feel pretty comfortable with where we're at, but we'll continue to monitor that over the next year.
So any questions or comments on the budget?
I do have a few other highlights I'd like to mention, because
Go
I said
ahead.
I'd bring it up. The water rate, it did change, CPI or so with water bills. The good news was, I think I had this last time, there was no increase from Carol Boone. So the only increase is gonna be CPI, which is at 5.66 is where it ended up for the end of the year. We also have projected the the trash increase. We have 4.95, I believe they're asking for 5. They had a different number than I did, but our numbers for the budget pretty much equal out, so there shouldn't be any change in that. There is a 2.5% COLA for everybody, along with no health insurance increase. This does not include the fire station that we're building, so there are no expenses in there for that. However, we do anticipate being able to pay cash straight up for that. There won't be any funding, so we have to go out for it. And then all the major funds that we have are in the surplus. I want to reiterate that. The other thing is salary. I told you I would discuss it. He has no idea. I did the research on this. But I did put in an increase to the mayor's salary to 90,000. After going back and doing the research, towns our size, the average without us is $92,000, and that was 2 years ago. So I'm going to project and propose that we raise it to 90 this year, 95 next year, and then 100 the following year. We're going to try to stair step it that way. If COLA comes in a little bit higher, I'll probably ask for a little bit more. But that is my plan as of right now. So this year 2025 90, 2026 95, and 2027 100. And again,
You want to explain your reasoning behind that? Because I understand the reasoning.
sure. Again, I researched, our municipal league does a salary survey, and they do it across all the towns our size. And again, anywhere from 10 to 20,000, that's what we always considered our size. And whenever it came back, the average for them, again, this was 2 years ago reporting, so it was $92,000 2 years ago. So I'm sure it's went up since then. And also just, being able to oversee everything that he oversees, it's a big job. It takes a good, strong leader to be able to oversee some of these guys down here.
Yeah, they're tough. No, but I wanted to mention, I know you're preparing for the future.
We are.
This isn't really necessarily for me,
Correct.
even though you might be giving it to me.
And that's always been his stance, and I think everybody that knows him has understood that. This is why I didn't include him in this conversation, because he doesn't care. It's never been about that for him, but I do know to get good quality candidates to be able to pull from different places. We've got to have a significant enough salary to be able to do that, to get a good pool of candidates. So hopefully this will do it. Can't guarantee it would pull everybody, but I do think being able to get the salary up, especially in whenever the next time we run to 6 figures, it does mean something. Does anybody have any questions on that? I know, Wayne, I told you I'd research this, and it's been a little too long probably since we've been able to do this, but do you have any questions on what I proposed here?
No, I am in total agreement with you.
So we're not just checking, Mayor Adams' salary in Mount Hope?
No, and honestly, Mount Home and this salary was actually a little above 90, but I'm sure his has went up over the years as well. So those were a couple of years ago. It continues to increase.
On a serious note, this is needed, and it's been needed for a while, so.
Well, the concept in a municipality is you pay the position, not the person. You don't adjust it based on whoever's currently in the position, because they're not gonna be there. We're losing 3 outstanding employees.
I just made the mention to Wade, and those 3 employees were losing over 100 years of experience.
It's incredible. Simply incredible that we're losing that kind of experience.
Hey, anything else? Luke?
No, sir, those were the highlights. Again, you could look at it line by line. Very comfortable with where we're at and where we're headed.
Okay.
All right.
With that said, we would need, I need to enter, Mr. Mayor, you'll have to entertain a motion for approval of the budget for 2025, and I will make the motion to begin.
And I will second it.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Anyone opposed?
Okay,
Okay,
Mr. Mayor, the next item is the water and sewer fund audit. And I assume you're gonna take that.
Sure. Yeah, we just got it, early this week, but it's for the 2023 audit. Everything was good. We had one finding, the same finding we have every year, just because it's difficult to get accomplished, and that's the unclaimed property that we have to send off to the state. It's just one of those, it's gonna take about 10 hours of work for someone to key in a bunch of information. And we just need to sit down and do that, so. It's the most minimal thing you can have as far as a finding, but it is one that we've got to address, so. But everything else came out as good as it could.
I would Mr. Mayor, I would make a motion that we approve the water and sewer fund audit.
can we have a motion? Do we have a second? We got a second, discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion passes.
Next item up in finance is the LRS rate increase. Mr. Chris Schneider is here, and I'd like him to come forward.
Hey, Chris.
I spoke with Chris. He's put a lot of miles on his odometer in the last few days, but I asked him to go ahead and be here. Anytime we have something like this where we're increasing a cost to the citizens, I want the individuals that are responsible. So if you don't mind, we have the CPI increase, and then you have another increase that you and the mayor and Lucas spoke about. Can you address those?
Yes, Councilman Magnus. So first of all, I just want to thank you all for the opportunity to come before you and our partnership. You know, I've been working with you for 2 years now, and it's been a great partnership. I've enjoyed it. I appreciate that. I do want to let you know that, so back when we had the floods last month, I know that was discussed a little bit earlier. You all had reached out to help out some of the residents, and so we set a dumpster at our location so residents could come dump for no charge.
You did, thank you.
And so that dumpster actually came out at 10,800 pounds.
Is that what it was?
Yep, about 5.24 tons, so there was quite a bit, but we actually had 3 dumpsters that we.
Convert that to dollars?
So.
Any idea?
If we converted it, it would be probably roughly around $1,200 donation.
$1,200, okay.
So with the, you know, transfer time, disposal and everything, so. But yes.
Excellent, thank
You
you.
know, but it was a great opportunity to help the community, and, you know, we want to be part of the community, so that's very important. We come before you tonight to ask for their annual CPI increase of 4%. So garbage trash CPI from the Bureau of Labor Statistics data website was 4.0% this year. And then we've seen a disposal increase of about 10% back earlier this year around May. We kind of just, you know, we've taken it in, and, you know, we wanted to wait till the end of this year to implement that at the same time as normally increase. That, you know, equates out to almost probably about 2% per customer. But what, you know, we want to be a good partner. We're asking for a 1% increase on the residential commercial, and we'd like to move the construction up to our cost of $83 a ton for the disposal. So any construction containers, it would be $83 per ton. That's what our disposal is right now.
That's what it costs you.
Yes.
Okay. Luke, are you up on what he just said? Is that what we discussed before? You mentioned 4 and 1. Is that what it?
We discussed that. Then had the increase so much from their cost to be involved.
So we're talking about an overall increase of 5%. I thought it was like 4.95, but 5%.
Correct.
We're actually having probably the lowest increases in utilities, water, trash than we've had in many years.
Right. Well, and I've pointed this out before in the past. It's difficult for the city to ask for a CPI increase and then not allow someone else that's on the same bill to get that increase. And a lot of council members in the past say we should always turn that down. If we turn that down on a regular basis, we're gonna be, you won't be profitable. You won't sustain in the community. So,
Yep, and and it comes out, at some point, it's going to come up, and we've seen that with some other situations. Matter of fact, in my travels, we were discussing, that was one thing I had to do last night.
We have turned it down before, but now the service is so good. And I mean that, Chris, thank you guys, because it wasn't long ago when things weren't this good, weren't even close.
And I appreciate that.
The number of complaints we get today are little and nothing compared to the past.
And that's part of the communication between, our communication with you all, our communication internally with our employees.
Yeah.
I can't say enough about our drivers. We have a really, really team here.
Yeah.
I'm proud to work with them.
okay, so at this time, I'd make a motion that we grant the increases as stated by Mr. Schneider. And if you don't mind, go ahead and state them publicly so they're part of the record.
It would be a 4% increase and a 4% CPI increase and a 1% disposable increase for a total increase of 5% to residential and commercial customers, and then an increase to $83 a ton for the construction.
Okay. Got the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Discussion from the council? All in favor? Anyone opposed?
Hey, Luke, I have one other thing. Luke, how much does this translate on a normal bill? Roughly about.
It said 2% and
We're looking about.
5, but on the bill,
Yeah.
they hit the water and the trash together.
I think so. Getting into the track specifically, that's fine.
What I thought, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, the next item is the Boone County Heritage Museum request for funding. And I'm not sure who we have. Normally I'll try and reach out to the individuals. If you don't mind, step up and state your name.
Yeah.
I was looking for Mr. Massey.
I'm not Massey.
No, you are not.
Everybody that knows Mr. Massey, know that I'm not him. I've got some handouts here. I'm Jeff Middleton. I'm the executive director, interim executive director of the museum.
Thank you, Jeff.
Mr. Massey bought on one of his
Thank you.
jaunts that he makes all the time. Usually he'll let you know, like, the last second, I need you to go see, talk to the city council or whoever.
Thank you, Jeff.
And he has a way of not,
Can you reach in?
not saying those. I've got a couple of those handing out through Mason, I'll leave this other one at the end. I have some more of these if someone else needs them. Get all my stuff together here. And, again, my name's Jeff Middleton, and you think, some of y'all think the guy looks familiar, if you take the newspaper, you might have seen this a couple weeks ago. And I've been accused of shamelessly self-promotion, which I plead guilty to, but the story was that, if you do look at the paper, the Heritage Museum, we have a story once a week in the paper that has to do with historical happenings in Boone County, back to the founding of the county. And I happened across a little story about a young man and his dog from 1939. And it's a cool story, and I sent that in the paper. Had no pictures of the young man or any of the people involved. So I picked 3 or 4 pictures of myself with my dogs and sent them in there and said, just pick one. The paper comes out and I'm plastered all over the here. So I guess that's self-promotion. I'm not sure that's the kind of like, but anyway, that's all that aside. Last couple of years at least, and I don't know the exact number, but the last couple of years, the city of Harrison has granted us a stipend or a payment, whatever, of about $4,000. Let me give you a little bit of background about myself and the museum. Some of you are pretty aware of it, others are not. I am the interim executive director. My name is Jeff Middleton. The museum is located, as most of you know, at the corner of Cherry and Central Avenues. It was the old original 1912 high school building. Later converted to the junior high around 1953-54. My parents both graduated from that building when it was still high school. I'm a fourth generation Boone. My great grandfather was John Henry Middleton, a leading citizen and landowner in Omaha. He donated the land for the Baptist Church and the Omaha School there. And then I have a son who is a criminal investigator with True By State Police, so he's a fifth generation. And then his 7-year-old son is sixth generation. So we go back, and that's all on my dad's side. If you're like me, I've traveled quite a bit around the country and some around the world, seen lots and lots of museums. And I can say with confidence that a town the size of Harrison, and our museum being nonprofit, we stack up really well with any of them. We have some really amazing, priceless artifacts, exhibits in our museum, and we're rightfully proud of them. We also own the Forest Building, which is a block down at the corner of Central and Maple there, which is slowly being converted into our archives. And in that building is the very exclusive, very nice Mountain Meadows Massacre exhibit, which unfortunately doesn't get shown very much because of personnel. As I said, the last couple of years, 2 years, council's graciously granted us a stipend of $4,000. We are nonprofit, do not have regular income, public or private. Every dollar counts. As an interim executive director, interim can last as long as they want it to last. I've been interim now for a year and a half, and they're not taking applications that I know of because not many people work for almost free. But I am paid $10 an hour for 1 day a week, and I'm the only paid employee. So I usually work 20 plus hours a week, and I'm on call 24/7 with our security system. We don't have problems with break-in, but we sometimes have problems with, I get calls at 3 and 4 in the morning that the motion detector's gone off somewhere, and it's the bats. We have a bat problem sometimes, and at 3 in the morning I wake up and I say, "Don't call the police, it's the bats." That happens quite a bit. So I have given out a sheet, it's a sort of report that shows our expenses for this past year up until this point. They're not final, of course, and you can kind of follow along. I highlighted some things, but the utilities, of course, is a big expense, and that has come out to $10,207 for the year so far. Repairs and maintenance is our second big expense, $14,296, and we did put all new LED lighting in the old school building this past year. It's really awesome. I'm so much brighter. It had a number of HVAC repairs, roof and guttering upgrades. That's repairs and maintenance. Insurance, like you know, never goes down, always goes up. It's right now around $7,200 yearly. We've been looking for cheaper, we haven't found it. Fire and security, $985. That includes the calls about the bats. Pest control, lawn care, $1,053. Contract labor, $23.45. Printing and postage for our quarterly magazine and calendar, $35.29. So our total expenses, I've got them summed up here. Yeah, it's $36,386. If somebody would like, I've got the big printout. Somebody can look at it, or we can make copies. You may not want to see that, but well, that's our expense up to this point. Our yearly income is comprised of annual memberships. We have 242, I think, is what our last bailout was. Memberships, donations, which we get just, various kinds, various amounts. Admissions to the museums, memorials, grants and stipends. Our total income so far this year is 25,435. So you can see we're kind of in the red there. Moving on, we're happy to report that our third floor is again open for viewing. It's been closed for as long as I've been there. We've got that back open, the industrial room, the all wars room, working on the civic organization room. Many of you might have noticed the Mount Meadows mural on the side of the building that faces Central Avenue. It was amazing, canvas snow from the Bergman Art Department. A couple of our students did that. It's just beautiful. And we recently got lights on that, so you can see it. It's not, I'm not sure that people across the street appreciate those bright LED lights, but anyway. And here's the last, maybe the last and really most important thing. Literally years of diligent searching for ways to install an elevator or a lift in that second to the second, third floors, along with money to pay for it. We've had to face the fact that we're kind of at a dead end. There's all sorts of engineering issues with elevators and lifts. I'm not going to get into that. And then funding has been a major issue. And you have so many visitors come in there and they want to see the whole museum and they look at those stairs and it always breaks my heart. And we just say, no, I'm sorry, we don't have an elevator. So, we've had some creative thinking on our part of our board, and we've got a new plan or project that's in the works. One of our board members, Dr. Don Crossfight, who I jokingly refer to as Boone County's oldest tech whiz, and he truly is. If any of you know Don, he's a preacher, evangelist, and a tech whiz, and he's begun to complete much of our plan of video each room. Okay, video it. Separate video, commentary, background music, enhanced photos, very professional. I mean, he just does amazing work. And then this week we installed a great big screen, probably bigger than these up there on one wall in our Equity Bank meeting room. And once Brother Don gets all the videos done, and I think, well, Marty's supposed to do the Mount Meadows exhibit. Anyway, once he gets all of it done, anybody can come in on the ground floor, walk into the Equity Bank room, and they can pick out what they're interested in, like the all wars room or the old timey medical room, whatever, and they can watch about 15-20 minute video on that. Very professionally done, and in some ways they make it more information than they would have if they find the stairs.
So Jeff, what are you asking for tonight?
For the amount?
Yeah.
Well, we're asking for at least the 4,000 that we've gotten in the past. And I mean, beyond that, I'm not, I'm not qualified to say, but that would be
okay.
At least that. So,
Mr. Middleton?
I'm sorry, Don is just continuing work on that,
All right. I've made the public statement before, it's not up to the citizens of Harrison to fund it. But I do believe that the museum serves a valuable service to our community. What we've done in the past is give money out of our community involvement fund. And I don't know whether anybody would be willing to make a motion as to the amount. And so, do you know how much is in that fund currently?
No. Presently, yeah, we've got funds in that presently to fund that. We may not have next year. Is that correct, Luke? Okay. Yeah, the budget doesn't include that next year, but this year we have $4,000 left.
Okay. Well, then I would make a motion that we fund $4,000 to the Boone County Heritage Museum.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a discussion, or a second discussion. Jeff, I've got a couple of questions. What, well, let's just say, what are your reserves right now?
We have a couple of CDs. It's almost big, or one of it's like 40,000, one of them's 28, 30,000.
So you got about $60,000-$70,000.
I've been there, we haven't had to touch.
Okay, well, you got about,
Thankfully, and I mean, that's it, basically, that's our reserve.
you got about 3 years, it looks like.
Fortunately, since we have no, expenses, we're not paying anybody, except the little meeting, and we have a very small group of really awesome volunteers. that
Sure,
Help
sure.
us keep it open and do lots of things, so, we save money on,
Yeah.
on that, but maintenance and utilities, that's always with everything, of course, in an old building, that old.
I know, yeah.
But, yeah, we do have that in reserve, and we have not touched it in the last year and a half. I don't know beyond before that. I don't think they've had to, that I'm aware of.
Okay,
We do have a little bit of reserve.
any other questions from the council? Good, all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion passes. We will,
If we could please have discussion and further resolution passed showing that this is a service provided by a nonprofit, that it's not provided by the city.
okay,
Right. I did, and it's basically for the county, it's Boone County Heritage Museum, not the city of Harrison, but obviously much of what's there has to do strictly with,
Yeah.
we do get a stipend from the county.
So I'd ask the city attorney, do we need to,
As a transfer of taxpayer funds to a nonprofit, we need to have a finding by council that the nonprofit provides a service for the citizens and taxpayers of the city that's not being provided by the city. And that would be, as a historian.
yeah, and we need that in writing from them. Did you understand that, Jeff? We need something in writing.
A motion vote, and it will be documented by the clerk.
So you'll need something.
then I make a motion that we ask for a resolution stating that the Boone County Heritage Museum provides as a nonprofit, provides a service to the citizens of Harrison, Arkansas.
Okay, we had that motion, a second?
Second.
Second, discussion on that? No discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Jeff? Thank you, and thanks for your volunteering over there. I know you put in a lot of time. Yeah, of course. We have that throughout town and I don't know how we exist without it, but get us that letter and we'll get you a check this
Okay,
year.
and who would be able to furnish me with the wording
Okay.
for that letter? How it needs to be worded? Email to me or,
Okay, we'll get you something. We'll shoot you an email.
I wanna get it right. We can do it probably tomorrow, because tomorrow's open.
We'll do that. Ms. Cartwright, you throw something together tonight and get it to him, please.
That'd be great.
Thank you. All right.
I want to finish by saying this, and I appreciate y'all's time. I've probably gone over my time. But the museum is the sole repository of much of the rich past of our county and town. I mean, it really is. And without the museum being there, some of the last vestiges of our rich history will be lost. And so, to those of us that support it and volunteer there and work, and many others, school groups that come through and all sorts of groups, they agree with us and they love it. And, we just need to keep it going. So I appreciate it.
Okay.
Time.
You're welcome, sir. Next.
Okay, that's all out of finance, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Larry, anything in your department?
Nothing this evening, sir.
Okay, thank you. Of course, Mary Jean's not with us and goes down to Jeremy.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
All right, and now, Public Works, Green, you've got the rest.
I've got some, excuse me. First one on mine is the ordinance 1533 that we passed the first reading on last month. That's the proposed revisions to fat oil and grease program. And this will be for the second and third reading and the passing of the emergency clause. Wade, do you need to speak on that tonight?
No.
Unless you have any questions.
I make a motion, we suspend the rules and place ordinance 1533 on its second and third reading by title only.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
An ordinance adopting and updating the city of Harrison's fat, oil, and grease fog program for restaurants and food establishments and declaring an emergency. Ordinance number 1533.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay,
And the next one there, make a motion that we suspend the rules and place ordinance 1534.
No, this is, we got past the emergency clause.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right.
okay,
Make a motion that we suspend rules and enact emergency clause for ordinance 1533.
Second.
well, we have a motion and a second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
The next one will be for the second, third reading and emergency clause for ordinance 1534.
And make a motion, council, suspend the rules and place the ordinance 1534 on its second, and third reading by title only.
Second?
Second.
Okay, we have motion and second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Ms. Cartwright.
An ordinance amending chapter 14.12 of the city code of Harrison, Arkansas to update the flood damage prevention code and declare it an emergency. Ordinance number 1534.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Motion second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Make a motion that we suspend the rules, place ordinance 1534 that we enact the emergency clause.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay,
All right, the next item on the agenda for me, everybody should have this in their packet. This is from the North Arkansas Regional Medical Center Community Match Program for Dr. Jesse Little. And at this time, I'd like to place this, or make a motion that we approve this, action.
Second.
Before we,
Ms. Cartwright?
before we start discussion or action, I'd like to recuse myself because I am on the board of the hospital. And I will not just enter into discussion or the vote.
Okay,
Thank you. Please repeat the same before the vote.
say again, ma'am.
Please repeat the same before the vote.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, so we are back to motion and a second. Any discussion?
Open up for discussion.
Okay. All in favor?
Well, hold on, is Dr. Little here?
I'm sorry?
Can we have Dr. Little come forward and speak for just a moment?
Yeah, sure.
Wayne made the motion on that. Who was the second?
Mitch.
Mitch and Wayne.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Jesse Little. Thank you guys for taking your time to put me on the agenda today. I appreciate it. Would love to share a little bit about myself since I'm new to the community. I trained in Little Rock at the University of Arkansas, Medical Sciences in Arkansas Children's Hospital. Recently graduated in June. I have been committed to NARMC since February of 2023. And we were very excited to finally get the chance to move up here and begin my practice. So far it's going very well, and I have loved taking care of the children in Harrison and the surrounding community. My husband is an Arkansas State Trooper. He currently works in Troop L, covering Carroll and Madison County. We have 3 small children, ages 6, 4, and 3, and they keep us very much on our toes. But I am just really excited, like I said, to be here. I'm excited about what we are doing with pediatrics here. There is so much opportunity to just bring more care, for the children here and to try and keep people closer to home. I have amazing support with the hospital. Everybody has been fantastic. They're open to new ideas. I'll just share one thing because there's so many things going on, but we have recently started what we're calling our SPICE clinic. It is a pilot program that does neurodevelopmental evaluation. So for those of you who may know, previously, there are 2 places in the entire state that do evaluations and diagnosis for autism and things such as that affect your neurodevelopment of children. And the waiting list on those is usually around 18 months. So children, we do as much as we can in the meantime to get them the services and the therapies they need, but there are things that they can't apply for until they have that diagnosis. So that has been a big need just everywhere. So we have partnered with this pilot program and started it here in our pediatric clinic at the Med Plaza. We've done 3 evaluations so far, and we've been able to provide diagnoses much sooner for the patients in our community.
Outstanding.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any further discussion?
Mayor, would it be possible for us to also hear briefly from Sammy Cripps Robertson?
I'm sure.
Hospitals.
Sure. Ms. Cribbs, Robertson? Thought I saw Tim here, did not yet. Here you are. Yeah. What is it, would you like to know?
I'd like to know Sammy's thoughts. Okay.
Thank you, council. Thank you. As Dr. Little mentioned, we engaged Dr. Little in February of 2023. We knew that early pediatric services in our community is essential for the growth of our community and for future leaders. And so we began that journey. When she joined us, she officially came to us in August and has begun seeing patients. Her practice continues to grow. As she mentioned, she's doing a significant amount of work with autism diagnostic and testing, creating some resources in our community. We've had a chance with Dr. Little's expertise to partner with the state. That's been a great experience so far, and hoping to continue to do some outreach programs. Certainly excited to see this progression with pediatrics and hope that the council will support this. Dr. Little and her husband are a great addition to our community, and it's a phenomenal experience to be able to offer this to her.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Call for a vote, and I assume that you need to go ahead and make a statement.
One point of clarification, just, I'm certain this is the case, but North Ark will be providing a match.
Yes.
I don't think we stated that, so.
Yes.
Okay.
In the match?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just want to say that publicly.
It's a match grant. Yeah.
We will, and we were already providing student loan support for Dr. Little.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor?
No, Larry's got to check out.
Say again?
I need to recuse myself from voting because I'm on the hospital board.
Of course. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion passes. Congrats, doctor. Thank you.
All right, Mayor, next on my list is Mr. Dan Lancaster from We, the People of Boone County, wants to make a presentation to the council.
My name is Dan Lancaster. I'm a 41-year resident of Boone County. I'm part of a group dedicated to supporting our constitutional republic, its principles, and the robust health of our local government, which I'm witnessing. I want to make it clear that I am reading from a paper I have written, which reflects my personal thoughts and only my thoughts. In recent months, our interactions with the Harrison City Council have gleaned some helpful advice. We were first advised as a first step when addressing concerns, we should approach a ward representative or an appropriate city official. If unsure, Christine Waters can direct anyone to someone able to address a concern in behalf. Good advice. I believe we have put this into practice by meeting with the mayor and his staff a few times and with Nancy Cartwright once. About 3 weeks ago, Mayor Jackson graciously approached 3 members of our group, We the People of Boone County, and invited us to talk with him. That meeting with our group, the mayor and 4 of his staff occurred a week ago. It was a very productive meeting, and I believe it gave both parties better understanding. For me, a key takeaway from this meeting was that the goals we the people have attempted to promote from this last year lack clarity. I would like to clarify our intentions. Going forward, we will approach ward reps or city staff as an appropriate first step. When it becomes necessary to address the council, our goal is to see acknowledgement of concerns that are presented and then deliberation. In other words, deliberation of the concern should be scheduled for an upcoming committee or council meeting. This does not have to be burdensome. Deliberation can be as simple as engaging in a brief discussion, concluding perhaps the council does not see this concern as something in need of addressing at this time, and stating that. It could be a thoughtful deliberation with the presentation of current and applicable ordinances which address the concern. Or it could be as substantive as a multi-meeting deliberation resulting in a new ordinance. We would like to see community stakeholders and experts included in this type of committee deliberation as well. The point here is that citizen concerns be recorded and addressed as a matter of public record. In contrast, concerns resolved by the executive team, while sometimes appropriate, do not involve a public forum. We believe the council is a more transparent method of resolving at least some concerns. Public deliberation promotes trust. It encourages community involvement in a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. I'm convinced that once this recognized public interaction takes root, we will all benefit. Trust of the public toward their council will increase, and the council will have a valuable resource as well. Those people who voted them in. In short, we would like to see concerns that are voiced to the council acknowledged, then addressed in committee or council meetings as soon as possible. This completes my thoughts. There's one more thing. There is a list of 7 grievances compiled by Paul Bodie that he and I gave to Nancy Cartwright during our meeting with her on November 6th. She agreed to deliver them to Mayor Jackson. To date, we have not received confirmation that this list was delivered. I have a copy for you here, Mr. Mayor. Perhaps this can be considered during the deliberation on council rules and procedures next month, if that's what it's called. Thank you for your time. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, as you all know, Dan and some of his other supporters have been coming to us for nearly a year now. And they've come up at the end and they read something, hand it to us and go on. So we've met with them a few times and I agree. I think the last meeting was probably our most productive. I think Luke and Wade and James were in the meeting. You had several people. And we just tried to understand, what you wanted, and we kind of explained maybe the best ways of getting that. And then you also just indicated that you also want the council to be involved, and we're okay with all that. We explained the process, starting actually with Christine, and she can get the department head or the council member directed, and we can help you the best we can. And then anytime you're welcome to come to council. You can always speak at citizen comments, but if you also want to be on the agenda and have a discussion, we're fine with that. I think as long as there is a subject matter.
Right.
And I think you know what we're referring to. So we're open to that. We welcome it. We, no problem whatsoever. So we appreciate you, Dan. We appreciate the ladies that work with you. And hopefully we can come together and do good things.
Yes.
So anybody have any question for Dan? Because I think you'll be seeing him again.
Well, Mr. Mayor, the only comment I would make, I can't speak for the rest of the council, but I get a lot of input from the general public on a regular basis.
Sure.
I'm not aware of anything that the council or the city has never taken under advisement that I know of, that we've ever told anybody no. Whether it would rise to the level of being in the council, I'm not sure if we ever did that, but I don't think so. Because if we've had a public concern, we've always addressed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to know, if you think we're doing something wrong, we want to know, but we want you to be specific
Right.
in exactly what it is, because we believe, all of us believe we're acting according to Arkansas law at all times. And if we ever don't, that lady's right there. And she knows it inside and out. We don't know everything. And if we make an error, it's never intentional. I can assure you.
It's been a learning experience. And I have to say, you all have taught me a lot. We want to be, you talked about my supporters. I really like it to be characterized as a support and council in the process. And we want to be team players. Sure. We don't want to, I heard somebody at the spring years and years ago, 30 years ago, that stuck with me. There was a squabble over who's had what booth at the spring festival that we had every year 30 years ago. And well, this is getting out of hand. And one of them said, I'm just here to cooperate. And that's the tone that I would like to set.
Yeah.
And so, you know, again, thank you for teaching us part of a process, and we'd like to be an encouragement. And as
Sure. I think when positions come open again, get more involved. Join the council. Join the quorum court. Actually, those are going to come up in about 10 months. I think you know, that's right around the corner. And I think a few of you live in the county, so you might want to get involved in that process, because I know you want to be involved, and you know, you want a voice. So you can have probably more of a voice if you're on the quorum court or on council, but we also welcome you, Dan, and we appreciate your professional approach.
thank you.
Mr. Lancaster, when are your scheduled meetings? Just out of curiosity.
My scheduled meeting.
Yeah, do you have meetings? Do you guys regularly
We have a
meet?
monthly meeting the first Tuesday of each month.
And where do you meet?
We meet at Crossroads Community Church
Nice,
in the basement.
awesome.
Welcome, join us if you'd like.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
All right, sir. Thank you,
Thank you.
ladies.
Thank you, Dan.
Good deal. Okay. Oh, good. Yeah. Thank you.
Mayor, that was the last on my agenda.
Okay, Liz, anything?
Nothing to report tonight, Mr. Mayor.
I think we have a citizen comment, James.
Yes. Here it is.
Yeah.
Liz Torgerson wants to address 2 items.
Okay, welcome, Liz. Liz, by the way, is our newly appointed member of the Planning Commission.
Good evening, everybody. Real quick, I was at Walmart, the produce section. Saw a snowman over there going through the carrots. It dawned on me, he was picking his nose. Anyway, gotta start. We gotta liven it up. We gotta liven it up, folks. Anyway, a couple of things. First one is seeing comments out on Facebook. Do we have a noise ordinance for the city? If we do, I wasn't able to find it. Maybe James can tell me or direct me where to locate it.
Okay.
So I like to try to, when people make snarky, I kind of like to direct them, go here, check it out, blah, 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 you know, kind of thing. That's one question. The other one, last Saturday, this has to do with regards to the committees that are going to be, I'm assuming, be reassigned next year with your new appointments, like over the cemeteries and whatnot, committees.
Yes, I'm going to address that here in a few minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last weekend, I participated at Maplewood with the Lake for the Wreaths Across Americans. I would like to offer, with whoever's the new committee, and maybe perhaps Camp Jack, things like that, to work with some type of a fundraiser start the fundraiser like February or March, for the purchase of wreaths, because I was there, I purchased one for my parents, but seeing so many veterans who did not receive a wreath, that's very disheartening.
Yeah.
I mean, they sacrificed, there was one was a Bronze Star. And there was no raise. So I was thinking, yeah, you have to pay, this year it was $17 per wreath. But I would like to, offer some assistance. I would, perhaps have two people run the funding to make sure, there's no misappropriation of funds, that fun stuff. But I would like to offer some assistance with doing some kind of a fundraiser with whoever's assigned to the committee, perhaps bring Camp Jack in it, and try to get more, monies donated and get more wreaths for those that were, forgotten. And
Okay.
oh, right, 2 minutes.
All right, thank you. Thank you. James, we have one more?
We also have Brent Nelson wants to address cooking for kids.
I just know that the Cooking for Kids fundraiser was very important to Mary Jean. And I'm glad to step in and try to fill some of her shoes in keeping that going. Last Friday, I wanted to report to council that we did distribute funds to both the HPD frontline families and to Children's Charity Ministry in the amount of $1,800 apiece for those two organizations. So that's all I had.
Nice.
Okay, thank you.
Point of order, Mayor, if we should reopen and revisit the resolution for the museum, I have a draft that needs to be reviewed by council and acted on.
Okay. You want to read that?
The committee was with,
Finance.
that's correct, that's correct. If we could reopen the resolution in consideration, I have a draft of the resolution. It needs to clearly set out that it's a service not provided by the city, acknowledging what the service is, and that there's a reporting requirement during the term. And as I understand, the term is calendar year 2025, is that correct?
Correct.
And for the amount of $4,000?
Correct.
I'll read it. James is going to put it on the monitors. I couldn't read it on the monitor up there.
Jeff? You see.
It's a resolution approving a museum contract that the undersigned mayor and city clerk of the city of Harrison do certify that the following resolution was passed and adopted by council at its regular meeting on December 19, 2024. Down to the substance of it, whereas the Boone County Heritage Museum, hereinafter museum, provides an invaluable service to the citizens of the city, including a physical museum with exhibits, archives, records, and educational services, preserving and sharing the rich history of the city of Harrison with the public services. Wherein, in consideration of the service to be provided in the 2025 calendar year, the city wishes to contract with the museum to continue providing the aforementioned services. Now therefore be it resolved, number one, that the museum provides a valuable service to the citizens of the city. Number two, that the mayor is authorized to enter into a contract for the 2025 calendar year with the museum for the payment of $4,000 from the city to the museum for the continued provision of services. Number three, that the services provided by the museum are of a unique value to the citizens of Harrison and are not services provided by the city. Number four, that the contract shall require the museum to provide the mayor and council with an itemized report detailing expenditures of the funds provided by the city, together with receipts or records documenting same. This report shall be provided by September 1st, 2025. That's the conclusion of the body of it. I simply pulled September 1st, 2025, so that it's before the end of the fiscal year.
Mhm.
I'll offer that this kind of a detail is required if there's a provision to a nonprofit in light of recent attorney general opinion and
Okay.
lawsuits.
Good. Thank you for doing that. Wayne, do you want to make a motion?
I'll
on
make a
that?
motion. We approve this resolution.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, Ms. Cartwright, thank you for that. That's how we work. Huh? Okay, So you're done, down to my comments. I've got a few tonight. We are, let's see, we've done that. We want to remind the council to make a note. If you happen to see large items on the curb, up until this last year, we had part of the cleanup that LRS would do a monthly one-time pickup. That no longer exists. They've replaced it with two cleanups to where they come by in the spring and the fall and clean up everything. But some of the people have not gotten the message. And I think Christine asked me if I would share that with you. If you happen to be driving around your ward or Larry's ward, go ahead, and if you see a couch out there, let us know, and we'll let them know that we no longer offer that service. I think we've had several calls lately. So that's one item. The next item is we will, in January, our next council meeting, it'll be a committee meeting, January 9th, preceded by a special called meeting to for organization. And at that meeting, we will, the council will decide, you've been through this many times, you know, what committees you want to be on, what days we will have the meetings. And one other item I want to share with you is, I think, Wayne, you have this.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Here are two items that we are going to look at in January. One, and these are both resolution to establish rules and procedures for the Harrison City Council meetings. And we, meaning the department heads, myself, city attorney, James, we have all made some recommendations that we want you to consider possibly before you come to the meeting. So you'll have these, and then you'll be able to go ahead and establish a new resolution. You don't need one, do you? You folks in the audience, I believe we have Josh, Gwen, and Charlotte. You'll hear. We've got one for you all. By the way, Jeff Nielsen. Jeff, I don't think you weren't here last month. And Jeff is our new president / CEO of the Chamber of Commerce. And Jeff will be making a full report next month. So. So that's called our organizational meeting. We're actually meeting tomorrow morning. Our department heads are with the three new council members. I don't think, at least in my time, we've never had a change where we've had three at one time. So with that said, Liz will be leaving and Jeremy will be leaving. Do you have anything you want to say?
Yeah, I would say it's been an honor to serve on the council with everybody up here, with you, Mayor. Been an honor serving for the citizens of Harrison. I've done the best I could, and I know Josh Earl's going to do a great job. I have no doubt about that. And one other thing I would like to announce, family announcement.
Yeah.
Our family's growing.
Oh, okay.
Baby Raglan is due in July 2025. So I'm excited to announce that.
Well, thank you, Jeremy. Liz, would you like to say anything?
Sure, I too. I feel it's been an honor to serve in this capacity for the city of Harrison. Thank you for appointing me to fill the vacant seat, and I wish the new city council members the best. And, some might have coined me the most controversial council member of Harrison, but I would say I was the most misunderstood, and I really appreciate the opportunity to learn and grow here, and people will see with time that I had the best intention at everything that I contributed to the city here. So thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Randy. So the only thing we have left is before what does she say? Go to the house? That was Mary Jean. That was Mary Jean saying, there was a few people that made some comments, and I want to kind of open it up here at the end, if anybody wants to make comments regarding Mary Jean. And I know James had something to say, so we'll start with you.
Oh.
Yeah, remember? You wanted to say something.
I met Mary Jean when I was about 17.
Uh-huh.
And her son and I had a car wreck.
A car wreck?
On the Bonanza parking lot. If you remember where Bonanza was.
Uh-huh.
That's when I met Mary Jean.
I bet that was interesting. Yeah. So any department head, all the department heads, by the way, we've all worked with her almost on a daily basis. Probably Christine more than anyone, but Luke?
Yeah, of course, I wore this jacket in honor of Mary Jean. She was always appreciative and trying to get more Christmas lights, even more if we could. Just appreciate everything she always did, and always a fun person to be around. I served with her on the cemetery board. She had a very big heart for the cemetery and just always a passion for everything Harrison. So we appreciate her, and we remember her, and again, trying to light up Mary Jean. So.
Yeah. Anyone else over there? I know Chris and Mark, they both, she really stood up for you guys. When she felt she had a committee and she was responsible for police and fire, we knew it.
Yeah, and when she didn't, we knew it.
You knew.
Yeah. Now, I met Mary Jean, I guess, through my wife's office when she first started. I mean, I knew her before, but I got really acquainted with her when she was a poll worker.
Yeah.
At the elections. And
Yeah.
I mean, just, of course, everybody knew her personality. And I think I made the comment, said, her personality is kind of like, you're just drawn in. I said, some people like it, some thinks, well, maybe I was drawn in like a moth to a flame too. So I've always thought a lot of her. You could tell she cared about the people. She cared about her community, and she gave it her all when she started to do something. And I said many times at her age, the things that she done just was amazing. So,
yeah,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Chief. Mark, you were her favorite.
The fire department.
Was.
Yeah, she was. And Jim, her son, and I worked together for a lot of years, and that's where I met Mary Jean first. But, coming back and taking chief, we were her departments. I mean, Chris and I both agreed that, she would call and she would want something. If she didn't agree with you, you certainly knew it. And, but that's what I liked about her. We didn't have to worry about where she stood on anything. You knew it before you ever got to this meeting. So, we're going to miss her. She was a heck of a lady. And, I know Jim and the other brothers are going to really miss her and moving forward. So thank y'all.
Thank you. Yeah, Jack.
Yeah.
I know.
No, I got the privilege of meeting Mary Jean on the city council, but also got to be with her at the CATPC committee where they work with parks, and she was always so supportive of everything I brought to CATPC to help with the community. But she'd call me almost once a week for 10 years and say, what can we do for more people in this community? And I'm so glad she got to be here to see Creekside, because she was so excited about that, and we get to honor her Saturday at Creekside. So I just want to say that she was always for every age in the community, which is very rare. And she served the community well and was a great partner for city council and Parks and Rec and CATPC. And I just want to say, since he left, she liked me a lot more than Matt Bell.
Like that. Anybody else care to say anything? Hey, Susan, go ahead. You don't even have to come up. Go.
In my mother regime, worked at industrials together.
Oh,
Here, It was a great friend of our family.
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll go ahead and end it by saying, Mitch, you want to?
Yes,
go?
if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
You know, I've told a couple of stories recently about Mary Jean. I'm gonna reshare one of them. But it always struck me, she wrote me a note. I've kept it every time.
Yeah.
A solemn night to sit here and have her not sitting here. I've served with her for a decade.
Yeah.
She made me mad. She made me happy. She made me frustrated. When we went to get the boat, she came that night and said, I want you to support this. And I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
And I backed up.
Uh-huh.
Next meeting, she said, you didn't tell me you were going to support it. And I said, well, I just want to make sure we're spending the money correctly.
Yeah.
And that was the worst thing I could have said, because not only did she have people calling me, including the fire department, police department, Office of Emergency Services, and citizens that lived in multiple places of the county.
Yeah.
When we bought it, they put her name on it.
Yeah.
And the first thing she said to me the day after we used it the first time, she walked in here, or at the old place, sat down and said, I told you we needed that boat.
Yeah, we actually purchased a rescue boat probably 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And we named it the MS Mary Jean because she lobbied hard for it.
Yeah.
And we actually saved some lives, I think.
Yes.
After getting it.
So like I said, it's a solemn night for me. He will be missed. I look forward to serving with Gwen next to me, but gosh, for all these years with Mary Jean, it's been incredible.
Yeah. So, I'll go ahead and end by saying, Mary Jean shocked me when I became mayor. She was already, on the council for 4 years. And when it came to this, nobody knew it better. She would research every item on there, make a lot of calls. She was well informed about everything. And that really did surprise me in her, but, that was a good thing. So if I can have a motion to adjourn.
Let's go home.
Let's go home.
No, let's
Okay.
go to the house.
Go to the house. All right. Let's go home. Yeah. Thank you.